Without proper balancing, three-cylinder engines tend to suffer from significant vibrations. The absence of a rocking couple inside the engine means that major components endure substantial stress, and this was initially the case with the Laverda 1003C. While it was designed to have an even firing order, engineers addressed the issue of breaking crankshafts by introducing a unique solution. It led to the creation of one of the best-sounding, most charismatic three-cylinder engines the public has ever experienced at the time. In the 20th century, three-cylinder motorcycles were a rare sight. However, with advancements in modern technology, they have become much more popular, allowing for precise tuning and optimization. The Japanese two-stroke V3s and British T-plane E93s are among the few sensible modifications this cylinder configuration has seen. Another notable example emerged from Italy, driven by the need for increased reliability. Drawing inspiration from the country of the rising sun, Massimo Laverda convinced his father, Francesco, to venture into the American market. Success there required a powerful twin-cylinder engine, so they meticulously examined the most prestigious competitors: the Honda CB77, Norton 650SS, and BMW R69S, down to the last bolt. The new engine was heavily influenced by Honda's design, initially displacing 650cc. At the last moment, it was increased to 750cc, and it was selling like hotcakes. Massimo realized the potential of the hype and instructed chief engineer Luciano Zenne to draw an Uber motorcycle with a 1000cc displacement. With the first concept introduced in 1969, the brand new Laverda 1003C was designed on the Laverda 750 architecture. It used cylinder dimensions of 75 by 74 mm of the pre-production 650cc variant, resulting in an unheard of displacement of 981cc. Along with the Kawasaki Z1, it was one of the first 1-liter bikes to be made for the public. The early development unit featured a single overhead cam layout with a rear-mounted starter and a front-mounted belt-driven generator. However, the initial head design could not provide sufficient airflow for optimal performance. Additionally, the even firing intervals were the core problem of crankshaft and bike frame cracking. The 120-degree engine configuration suffered from a stair-step-like motion of the internals during the rise and fall, which, as a result of secondary forces, rocked the crankshaft along its axis. The chief engineer went back to the drawing board. He designed a new cylinder head with a 40-degree valve angle, incorporating the latest technology while using 2 valves per cylinder and twin camshafts. This new design also included a side-place alternator and a belt drive on the other side. In a typical Italian manner, it was thrown off the table for spoiling the engine's visual appearance, and eventually the valve train was placed between cylinder 2 and 3 using a chain drive. Furthermore, the new build-up crankshaft was retimed, where the 2 outer pistons operated together and the middle piston was offset by 180 degrees. This setup, which fired like a 4-cylinder engine with 1 deactivated cylinder, resulted in a clumsy idle and gruff sound. Basically, he made the firing harsh to cure its violent secondary forces. Some compare it to a British 360-degree twin with an extra cylinder. Anyhow, the redesigned engine produced 80 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, delivering both power and reliability. In fact, except the Bosch electronic ignition, which suffered mostly in wetter countries like the UK, the engine was a reliable and solidly built unit. Many components were similar to those of the 750, but very few were actually shared. One such difference is the use of a new Bosch alternator instead of a dynamo, high compression ratio, and twin camshafts instead of a single. After meticulous development, the engine now looked impressive, performed as desired, and the 180-degree crankshaft solved the engineer's headache. It produced an exceptionally unique sound, far different from even firing or T-plane triples. The soundtrack combined the exhaust notes of a 360-degree inline twin, a regular triple, and a low-revving 4-cylinder reminiscent of a BMW K100. During its lifespan, a British importer, Slate Brothers, thought that the 3C needed a bit more power and sporty handling. With Massimo's consent, they introduced the Laverda 1000, named after a triple-time Spanish dance. Besides new fork yokes, the engine received hotter cams, a free-flowing exhaust, and a 10-to-1 high-compression pistons, unleashing a power of 97 horsepower at 7,800 RPM. In 1982, the engine was redesigned with even firing intervals. This redesign introduced better balance, reduced vibrations, and smoothed the ride. However, according to die-hard enthusiasts, some of the original character was lost. The 180-degree crankshaft had a raw, brutal performance full of charisma. The final prototype was introduced in 1971 at the Milan Motor Show, and the production lasted until 1988, with over 12,000 sales in total worldwide. The 3C was offered in a large scale of colors, received various improvements and modifications throughout the years, and even took place in a number of endurance races, such as Castrol 6 Hours or Bordeaux 24 Hours.